you're listening. Okay. PJnet.tv. It is 8:59. Gosh, we're all on time tonight. On the East Coast, you're looking at the bumper. If it's about 9 o'clock Eastern time, that means you're watching it live. You could be watching it on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, or you could be in the PJNet chat room. Either way, we are so glad you're here, and our guest is waiting. First time guest. Let's start a countdown to Studio 9. Well, good evening and welcome to, over there, PJnet.tv. I'm your host, Coach Prasick. It is Thursday night. We have had an incredible week, and we aren't going to stop now. We are going to continue in that tradition. We have a first-time guest standing by in our green room, and I can't wait to introduce her, but I have to warn you, she's not a published author. You don't have to be a published author to be on this program. You have to be a born-again Christian. Okay? But so many authors. But it is not that Jeanne Doyon, say it, Jeanne. Doyon.
Jeanne Doyon.
Doyon. It's like the O is kind of like an A at the end, right? Doyon.
And it gets misspelled that way all the time.
Okay. Well, darn it out. Yep. When I wrote you the check for being on the program, I misspelled your name, so I just won't be able to send it. Sorry. Jeanne, you are... Well, I about pressed the wrong button there. I about erased you. You came to PJNet because our associate producer does such a great job.
Yes. Barbara, I was listening in on a program about a week and a half ago, and Barbara sent me a message and said, "Hey, how would you like to be a guest?" So I said yes.
Well, we appreciate that. And folks, your attention is called to the graphic over my shoulder, over there. You see the name, pausing to see God clearly. Now, if you look carefully, there's a picture of a pair of glasses. Now, there's a story here, but really, and Jeanne's going to tell the story, but let me encourage you to go to her website, and as I did, and I'll put it on the screen, it's JeanneDoyon.com. Surprise, surprise. And it's on there. And this is the stuff of which Hallmark movies are made. Jeanne, when I look at you today, it's hard to imagine a little fourth grade girl who lacked self-esteem, who lacked confidence, who felt awkward. You are so well composed, and you deliver your words well. You speak publicly, but it didn't start out that way.
No, it didn't. I started wearing glasses in the fourth grade, and I was the only girl in my class that had glasses, and the only girl in my grade that wore glasses. And that was okay for a little bit, but pretty soon the kids were fine about it. It was a teacher that had said some unkind things. I had a gym teacher who... We were outside playing kickball, and he screamed across the field because I was on first base, "Hey, Four Eyes." And then he said, "Hey, four-eyed monkey face." And I just wanted to get underneath first base. Oh. Well, things like that just settle in a little girl's heart. You kind of brush it off at times, but I remember some of my classmates saying I had gotten up to kick the ball. It was my turn. And they just said, pretend it's Mr. Blank. And I'm sure he's not alive anymore, but I'm not going to say his name anyway. Pretend it's his head. And I kicked a home run. But it really wasn't funny. It hurt, and it hurt a lot. And then pretty soon the kids caught on to Four Eyes, and that was just something that I heard a lot. And then when I was in junior high school, I had a teacher who sat in the classroom and said, "Girls that wear glasses do not get asked out on dates." And again, as a middle school girl, that's not something you really want to hear. But I will tell you that as God uncovers the roots of our wounds and our scars, that He does something wonderful. There was a day, my children were young. They were napping, and I was sitting down with my Bible, and I was praying, and I was talking to the Lord, and I had begun to weep. And I don't even remember now what I was weeping over, but the Lord, I heard Him whisper to me, "I love you. I love you." And He said, "Even your glasses." And I even wept more. And it just was amazing to me that God knew me, that He saw me, and that He heard the woundedness of my heart and began to heal those things in me. And um, it just continued on and on. And he began to give me more confidence. I would never have stood up before a group of people while I was in school. I used to sweat and speech class, but He healed all that, and He took the fear away.
I wonder, did it cross your mind that the people, the two that you've mentioned, in a teaching capacity at school, I wonder if they were aware of the severity and seriousness of the wounds that they had inflicted?
I honestly don't know.
I mean,
I
sometimes,
hope that they would be, but that they should know better. But sometimes, what do they say? Wounded people wound people,
well, that's
or hurt
that's our
people hurt
instinct.
people.
When we're hurt, we want to hurt back,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's insensitivity. It's not malicious. It's not aggression. It's just simple. My wife and I, we would be in church, and we'd been married for 10 years, and people would ask insensitive questions. Like, well, where's the kids? Well, what kind of answer do you expect from me? You know, when you hear that, I mean, I don't know, but you carried
Yeah.
now this time that God revealed Himself to you. You've got kids of your own, so 15 or so years you carried this cross.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty shy. I don't know if that's really who I am. I mean, when I look back on it now, I don't feel as though that I'm a shy person at all. But those experiences that we go through kind of put a false covering over us. And I think that's what I was carrying all through high school and even, my early parenting years.
Now, we were talking earlier, you've been married since 1980.
Yes.
Now, that by
To the same
itself,
man.
yeah, oh, there you go. Folks, that's not impressive. What is impressive is you're married to the same man continuously that entire time. And what a journey, having been told that girls that wear glasses can't get dates and all that. Did that impact your social life? Dating and such as that.
Well, I had a steady boyfriend all through high school. So I don't know, maybe I thought I was doing okay.
Hmm.
I don't really know. But when I met my husband, I knew he was the one. So maybe it's good I didn't have all kinds of dates.
Okay. I spent some time, folks, and I encourage you to spend some time at JeanneDoyon.com. There you will find that Jeanne is not just a speaker; she's a blogger. She's appeared on podcasts. Jeanne, you write a lot. You do a lot of blogging.
I do.
Uh, has anyone dropped the idea in your head that maybe you might want to write a book someday?
Yes. And I keep telling myself that I need to do that. I think I need an accountability partner.
Okay. Well, I don't know how old you are, but you and I got married the same year. I know how old I am, and as a coach, I can pretty well assure you, while there's probably some time left on the clock, I'm pretty sure we're in the fourth quarter. Sometimes we
I
need
think we are.
that should create a sense of urgency. But you take to blogging quite a bit. What do you? Why did you start doing that? You don't sell anything. I mean, you don't make any money at it.
No, no, it was really just getting what was inside of my heart out on paper, and to encourage people and to um, I just have this desire that people just know the word and that they know the word is for today and that it speaks to us today. And it's not just a dry, dusty book, but it's alive and it changes us. So I just started writing.
Amazing. And you could have written about anything, but yet you chose to write about your encounters, your experiences with God. Did it just take off and you just got encouraged, or was there some tough starts getting going?
I think it just got started and just got going. It actually started as a print newsletter before the internet, before I started blogging. And I had about 300 print subscribers. So back then I was trying to mail out those things. I was thankful that the internet came along because it was less expensive.
Yeah, yeah. Now I get those forever stamps. That way you don't really know how much it costs. Just by-
That's true.
and but I'm glad they do that because they keep changing the price. So I feel like I got some old stamps here I paid less than the current price for, and I can still use them. It's,
So sending out a letter is a bargain.
yeah. Random thought the other day. We had a guest, and I'm wondering who it was. Might have been Andy Clapp. I don't remember, but we were talking about just simple acts of ministry. And one of the things that I do from time to this day is sometimes we get one of those envelopes. It's a bill. You know what I'm talking about? A bill. You have to pay something. So a lot of the things we can do online, but have you considered maybe writing a check the old-fashioned way and putting a note in the envelope with your check, because a human being is actually going to open that. They have to. There's no other way. And that could be a simple act of ministry that anybody is capable of doing. Tell me about the podcast that I didn't get to listen to all of it. It's, I think, 38 minutes. But folks, if you want to, you can skip the first 12. How did that come about?
Jared De Niro is a pastor up in Massachusetts, and he had seen my name someplace and again contacted me, asked me if I would like to be a guest on his podcast. And so I said yes. We got together, and he interviewed me about my ministry, pausing to see God clearly, because I had just done my first women's retreat that was my own retreat, not just a retreat that I was invited to
Right.
speak at, called Pausing for R&R, Rest and Renewal. And so that's what he interviewed me about. And so that's what the podcast is on. And that was fun. I had never done anything like that before, to be a guest and to be interviewed like that. So it was neat to share how that ministry kind of came about. I think it's been a long time coming, but I have suffered burnout in the past, and pausing and finding God's rest has been really important to me.
Well, I don't know how you got on that ramp to do the speaking at women's events, but then you transitioned to actually holding an event of your own. That is I don't know if it's a huge leap of faith, but that is operating at an entirely different level, because every detail leads back to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you do it by yourself?
I did not. The amazing thing is I had been praying for 5 years that
Hmm.
this was something that I wanted to do. This was something I felt God had put on my heart. He had given me the vision of 12 women and 3 nights. And I had this idea of where it was supposed to be held. And it just seemed like it was taking forever. And it was that timing thing that we talked about before we got on the air. And um, suddenly I had this woman say, if you ever decided to do your own retreat, I would love to do the food for you and plan the meals and shop and cook. And then I had another group of ladies out in the Midwest, the Chicago area, who said, we would love to do gift bags for your ladies' retreat. And so all of these pieces began to just fall into place for this retreat. And I just knew it's like, okay, Lord, it's time. And so I did, stepped out in faith, rented an Airbnb, and it was fabulous. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, it is a big jump because if you're invited to speak at somebody else's event, that doesn't necessarily really cost. That's not a big financial obligation, and many times there's an honorarium involved to offset or even clear a little, you know. But when you are holding the event, all the financial responsibility lies with you. Wasn't that a bit, well, scary?
Yes, yes, it was. Um,
I
because I
know.
wanted
I
to make
feel your
it.
pain.
I wanted it to be affordable. I
Yes.
didn't want anyone to feel as though that they couldn't
Right.
come because they couldn't afford it.
Hmm.
But yet I knew I needed to cover my costs. And I
Yeah.
just barely covered them because instead of 12 women, we had 8.
Hmm.
But that's okay. First time through, I learned a lot, and I'm trusting God with it. If He has something for this, I'm going to have another spot. COVID kind of threw
Yeah.
something bomb in the middle of everything, so it might be 2022, but I'm already looking at other places, and I'm just trusting that the Lord's going to bless women by attending a retreat like this. It's something very unique, very different, and very needed.
Now you're up in the far northeast.
Yes, the frozen tundra.
Yeah, I didn't know God bothered up there. I thought this was God's country down here, and you just got the leftovers. But apparently God does move up there in the cold, frozen tundra.
Yes, yes, he does.
If you had it to do again, would you have started earlier? Would you do more of them? Would you aim for what changes would you make if you had a clean slate and said, "I'm going to do this all over"?
Everything all over, or the retreat all over?
The retreat.
Hmm. I'm not sure if I would do it earlier. I really feel as though that I was staying in step with what God was doing. Um,
Now, I think what just happened is the connection between Jeanne and I has gotten frozen. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Jeanne, I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset our connection. So let me put a little movie up here to play while we do that. I'm going to reset the connection, and hopefully I'll be able to bring her back. Okay, hopefully. If that doesn't work, well, we'll just have to, wrap it up because we've got more things coming. And I just, by the way, where she's at, we did a dry run. She actually is operating on a Wi-Fi connection offered. I mean that she's apparently in a rural area, so internet connection may be a problem. Okay, well, I'm not seeing. If I see her reappear, I'll switch back to her. But I'll use the closing moments of our program to remind you that we're not done. Okay? J.D. Winninger will be here at the bottom of the hour, giving us a tour of the. In fact, go get you a good apple. I'm gonna go get an apple. Apples. Get ready, coming up. JD saying, take a couple extra minutes. He's in no hurry. Appreciate it, JD. He's always so gracious. We heard about Jeanne's event. We are planning an event of our own, January the 15th. You say, that is a long, long, long time from now. Well, it may seem like it is to you all because you don't have to manage all the details. And, folks, we have literally got 7 outstanding speakers. Now, I'm not talking about high-level, people that are, but I'm talking about some really strong men and women. Well, they're all men, I think. But the event is open to the public. It's going to be called God and Country, in that order. It's going to serve as a PJNet family reunion. It'll be near the Tallahassee area, about 10 miles east of Tallahassee, at a beautiful, beautiful venue of a barn that's got a polished concrete floor, got restrooms, got air conditioning in the restrooms. It's really a wonderful place. There's a story behind that I'd love to share. But we're going to use it to be like a PJNet family reunion. And any published author who comes, bring your books, because we will make a place for you to do book signings. There's no charge. You'll be like a vendor, and we're also going to be using this as a fundraising event to build the initial phase 1 video wall. So that as we do more and more events, we'll be able to take our video wall with us. Well, what's a video wall? Well, think of it as 4 monitors, 2 by 2, 2 across the top, 2 across the bottom, that act together as one. So the 65-inch television now turns into a 130-inch television. But we're getting everything set up to go 3 by 3 in phase 2, which will be 3 by 3. 3 across the top, 3 across the middle, 3 across the bottom. 65-inch. Folks, that's 190-inch diagonal. And the whole thing will be portable. We're going to, instead of mounting this all to a wall, we're going to build a little wall, mount the bracket to the wall, hoist the wall up a scaffold. So in other words, it'll travel. It is way cool. Okay, so this will be a fundraising event. Jeanne was talking about how she was set up for 12 and booked 8. Our break-even point is like at 100. 100. And it's a little scary. But I know that, I'm pretty sure I know what God has called us to do. And you all are a part of it, whether you come to the event or not, although we'd love you to come. Everybody here, especially those of you in the chat room. I'm going to take a break because JD will be coming at the bottom of the hour, and I got to make a couple of changes between now and then. And we appreciate Miss. In fact, I see I have a guest. Oh, guess what? I think that Jeanne has tried to make a second connection to our studio, but it's not working any better than the first one. So. Anyway, before I leave, I would challenge you to ask yourself a couple of very simple yet profound questions. Well, Jeanne, guess what? Hot diggity dog. Hold on a second. Let me see. Man, I have just been talking up a storm, and we were within a couple of minutes of wrapping up earlier, but JD is a gentleman. He's our next guest at 9:30. But he said to take as long as is necessary. If you want to wrap it up, tell us, well, there it went. Oh, well. All right, here's the question. First, what is the boldest thing that you have ever done for Jesus Christ? And the second question is, how long ago was it when you did that? And you see, if we are really to be disciples of Jesus Christ, and if we really are to make disciples as we are commanded, we can't let ourselves be satisfied with our answers to either of those two questions.